Welcome to the Frederica Academy Nights Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick. Brought to you by St. Simon Seafood, Jenkins Nissan, The Emerald Princess, Apple Care and Media Care, Misty's Element Massage, and by Catch 228. Now here is the voice of the Frederica Academy Nights, John Wetzler. Welcome to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Jason Bishop sitting in for John Wetzler on location at Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's, where we will be each and every week, Thursday nights, 6:30 for the entire season. This segment of the Brandon Derrick Coaches Show is sponsored by the Emerald Princess, Apple Care and Media Care, St. Simon Seafood, Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, and our host, Catch 228. And now joining us, the head coach of the Frederica Academy Nights, Brandon Derrick.
You had a good week?
Yeah, pretty good week, Coach. How about you?
We worked on correcting a lot of things.
So you guys, tough game last week, tough loss. Talk a little bit about that game, Coach.
As I said earlier, I felt like we didn't give a great effort last week at times. We had some kids that played really hard, played a really good team. But you know, we weren't a product of what we've been doing the last 4 weeks. I didn't feel like we pride ourselves on playing hard and giving great effort, giving great attitude, and we're going to continue to do that. We redirected that this week in practice. We didn't resemble that a whole lot Friday night at Robert Toombs, and I think we've got that corrected.
Coming out of that game, Coach, what bright spots, silver linings, are you taking with you into practice this week?
Well, if you'd been there and watched, there wasn't many. I thought a couple of our seniors stepped up even during that game, challenged some of the kids as the guys that we depend on. The Brandon Blake and Drew Brunson, we depend on those two guys, and they've been after a few kids this week in practice, and they were the kind of the silver lining when I watched film on after Friday night watching film. Those two guys really stepped up and got after it, and I felt good about that because they're not going to accept that anymore, and they voiced that opinion this week in practice, and they challenged a few guys to get after it. So that was kind of our silver lining with those two guys and the leadership.
Coach, your first year in AAA, I think, has probably been a learning experience for just about all of your kids. Talk about the mindset of the kids now that they've got the non-region part of the schedule behind them, and they've seen the Valwoys, they've seen the Robert Toombs. What is their mindset now they've seen those top-tier teams?
Well, they know that they have to raise their level of play. Where we were at in single A for 2 years, they didn't have to compete every single play. We talked about that today in practice. Defensively, we've got to be 11 for 11 on defense. We can't have a breakdown. We can't play 10 great plays and break down on one and escape. So I'm beginning to see that with our kids and the intensity. They have to get used to that at that next level, and they didn't have to do that before, because the other teams would make mistakes and give them opportunities. Well, these teams don't do that. When you move up every level, it's just like high school at the highest tier, or it's like college or professional ball. The team that makes the most mistakes, probably the one that's going to lose. And that's what I talk to the kids about all the time, is we've got to eliminate that and do that. And that's something that single A level where they started out at, they could out-athlete people and make plays, be in their own spots and still make it because they were somewhat better athletes. Now, everybody's got comparable athletes, so we have to do everything exactly right. And right now, we're not the most athletic team out there. So, our kids do a really good job defensively. Offensively, it's been kind of a struggle. We don't have many playmakers, and we don't have that one guy that can take it to the house.
Coach, as far as the teams that you've seen in the non-region schedule, and the thing is, you play powerhouse. You haven't played any cream puffs. That's the thing. So you've seen the best of the best in AAA GISA. In your opinion, who's the best team that you played?
Valwood. Robert Toombs is a close second, but Valwood's really good. They're huge up front, great skill kids, quarterback that could run and throw it very accurately. defensively, they had a defensive end at 6'5", 240, already committed to Rutgers. When they've got those kind of kids that can go to the next level and play, and they're very disciplined. They run a high up-tempo offense, which when you've got 22 kids and they've got 50, and they're out there standing at the ball when the referee blows the whistle and play, they've already got a play called, and we're standing there trying to get a signal, and they're very disciplined. They're very good, and Robert Toombs is right behind them. If Toombs had a couple guys that had a few more guys that could go both ways and could spell them a little bit, they'd be right in the mix of it. Toombs got a great skill set. They've got great running backs, but Valwood is a complete package, speed and size.
This is the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. All right, Coach, so getting ready to head into region play against Trinity. So now on the early part of the season, or really to the halfway point, you're 2-3 on the year. Talk about your expectations and where you thought you would be and where you are.
I thought we would be where we're at right now. Thinking about it, looking back, we probably could very well be 3-2. Tift area was a game I think we kind of underestimated our own ability, and then we were right in. We had a chance to win it. It was 15-9, and we just didn't capitalize on a couple of mistakes. But where we have started and where we've gotten to, if you'd have saw us the first week at football camp, I was really nervous about what we were going to be able to do. And now where we're at, defensively, we're a pretty solid football team when we want to be. And offensively, we're still trying to find our groove. But I think what we've done is prepare our kids and our coaching staff and myself to get our mindset that we can go and compete in our region. We're not going to face anybody better than what we've already seen. I can promise you that. Robert Toombs, if Robert Toombs had played everybody in our region, they've already won the region. They beat Bullitt, they beat Trinity, and they beat us. And I can guarantee you they beat the other two teams. So right now, when you watch them, we're playing those guys, and then we're going to be playing Valwood would take the region too. So we've been playing some tough competition. It's going to prepare us for what we're going to face in the region.
How are your kids responding to that, knowing that the second part of their schedule, their region play, is going to be a lot easier than the teams, the powerhouses they play to the non-region part?
Well, I think they've taken it as a challenge now. I've had a couple of them say, well, Coach, the other ones, they're not as good as everybody we play. Well, that's true, but we have to go out there and compete and play and prove to everybody that we're a team to be reckoned with in our region. And we may have to cross back over against Valwood in the playoffs. We're actually matched up with their region, so we've got to get ready to move forward on that and get our kids. I think our kids have a mindset right now that we can compete in our region and win. And we have had some challenges. It's been a big step for the kids and actually the whole school to move up from playing single A football all the way up to triple A. You go to the highest level. You're competing every night on every snap. Like I said, you can't have one breakdown.
More to come on the Brandon Derrick Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
The Emerald Princess Casino is celebrating 25 years with a special $25 gift for you. Wow, 25 years. Celebrate with this special $25 offer on our Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening cruises now through December. Limited one $25 value offer per person per cruise. Call for details. For reservations, call 800-842-0115 or visit emeraldprincesscasino.com. Call for offer limitations. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
I'm Jenkins Nissan.
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 I am Jenkins Nissan.
I'm Donnie Jenkins. We're all Jenkins Nissan, and together we want to show you just how easy buying and servicing your car should be. So please, stop by and experience the Jenkins Nissan difference. Look for the red and white Nissan tent at the corner of Chapel Crossing Road and the Spur, or visit us online at JenkinsNissanofBrunswick.com.
Get affordable health care when you need it. At Apple Care Immediate Care, our team of compassionate health care providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in health care. Located at 1111 Glencoe Parkway, AppleCare is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. AppleCare welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook. Welcome back to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Jason Bishop, sitting in for John Wetzler on location from Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island. This segment brought to you by the Emerald Princess, Jenkins Nissan, and by AppleCare Immediate Care. All right, Coach, so 2 and 3, non-region behind us. Now we're heading into region. You're making the long trek up to Dublin, Georgia off I-16 to play Trinity. Talk a little bit about that game.
Well, Trinity's a solid football team, big up front. I think they have a kid that's committed already to school, the center. He's going somewhere. And number 74 is just a sophomore for him. He's probably about 6'3", 6'4", probably right in there about 290, maybe 300 pounds. He's a big old kid. They've got some other guys that are solid. Their quarterback's very fast. Number 12, he can move. And number 14 that plays running back, he's a slot receiver too. So he's got some speed. They have a big tight end, probably 6'3", can catch it, can move pretty well. It's going to be a challenge, but that's nothing I haven't prepared everybody for. I've said every game from here on out is going to be one of those, whatever team makes the least mistakes is going to win. And so we keep looking at that, and I just keep preaching to the kids. Let's go. Right now, my big thing is I've been preaching to them about turnover margin. We're at -8. That's never good. You can't be negative and win. And I pulled up some stats the other day, which really -8 is like -1.6. And teams that have a -1.6 turnover margin, they only win 2 games in the season. So right now we've matched that, but we've got to create turnovers and not turn the ball over. And if we can do that in region play, we've got a chance to win every game.
Aside from preaching the winning the turnover battle and cutting back on that, Coach, what are some other things that you guys are going over in practice, getting ready for Trinity, things that you're going to have to do in the football game to win?
Well, one, stay on blocks. We've been yelling at the kids all week about running our feet, staying on blocks. A lot of the kids getting open too early. They weren't shooting their hands at the right time. They're leaving their hands out in front of them, and they're getting the weight over their chest. So we worked on that this week. Defensively, goes back to what I tell them every week. We have to read our keys and flow. We have to be down the line and do our job. Everybody's got a job. Do yours, and everything will take care of itself. They've done a good job this week. We've mixed it up a little bit this week. We've moved some guys around, mainly for speed purposes. I did that, but we moved Cameron to Mike, and I put Brandon back at the wheel. Brandon can move, and it matches up with the quarterback. They like to run a little quarterback sweep to the outside, so I'm going to put my best man on their best man, and we're going to find out who's the man. And so, I put Brandon out there to kind of control him and control that play. And Cameron's big enough in the middle to move and straight and take care of the fullback dives and stuff like that. And we've moved Ty Gardner around. They're going to have to find him on defense up front. We're going to move him from defensive tackle to defensive end. Secondary-wise, pretty much the same. So we're going to be kids are going to go to certain spots, matchups. We're going to play matchups, which is something I'm okay with doing. A lot of times kids get into this idea that they're an outside linebacker or they're a rover, but, our kids have been good enough to say, okay, we got to do this to give ourselves a chance to win, and we've moved them around. They've done a pretty good job. And so defensively, we just have to read our keys. Offensively, maintain blocks and just take care of the ball. If we can do that, we got a very good chance of winning a football game.
Coach, other than the quarterback sweep that Trinity is going to throw at you probably a good bit, what are some other things that you're looking for that they're going to try and throw at you that maybe they've had some success doing throughout their season?
Well, they're a shotgun wing T team, which is kind of weird. It's not like the spread pistol or the spinner series, which I'm talking football jargon again. A lot of people are like, what in the world is he saying? But they're going to have 2 receivers split out, and one of them's going to come in motion practically every time, and the back's going to be beside the quarterback, is what I call the fullback. But they're going to pull their guards, and their guards take us to the football. So if we can read the guards, we got a very good chance of being in the right spots if we don't over-pursue it. But we have to minimize the cutback. What I noticed about it is we kept thinking they were trying to influence, and I watched film more and more. They weren't trying to influence. the running backs just break back where the guards vacate when they pull. So that's another reason I slid Brandon Blake over to Will, because he scrapes really well and he seals the backside down. Him and Drew Brunson will be on that side. So they're going to run that spread wing type look, and they've got a couple of athletes that can get on the edge, so we've got to do a good job of containing it, and I think we've done an outstanding job defensively this week of reading our keys. I thought Wednesday, and after I had a little come to Jesus meeting with them at about 5:15 yesterday, and then today it was very good. I thought that the kids were in the right spots every time. Defensively, they're going to line up to 5-3, cover 3, and they're going to challenge you to beat them. And with what we're going to try to do is they've got those big guys in the middle, so we're going to run them from side to side, and that's our strategy, is run from side to side for a while, and then hopefully they'll tire out and we can run up the middle. We've reverted back to some former strategies I used to do. If you're big in the middle, run them across the field, make them chase you, and then run right at them. Maybe they can't catch you.
That sounds like a book out of your old Mainland days, Coach. You're listening to the Brandon Derrick Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Coach, we were talking a little bit in the break about the offense coming along. Where is the offense now?
Well, right now it's hit and miss. There was flashes Friday night. The first drive against Robert Toombs was just boom. We were 20 yards a clip, and then we turned the ball over, which I don't even know it was a turnover. I think it was an incomplete pass, but the referees called it a turnover. There's flashes that offense can execute a lot, but a lot of times we shoot ourselves in the foot. It's a penalty, it's a turnover, or it's a bad snap. This year we've had some bad snaps, and that's been a huge Achilles. When you snap on a shotgun and you get a bad snap, you're -5 the next play. So trying to get that fixed this week, and right now we've got, I thought the guys looked pretty sharp today, Thursday, going through it, knowing what they had, what they were going to do. The offensive line has kind of settled in a little bit. The biggest thing is we don't have a game breaker. We ain't got that one guy that make everybody miss and he's going to be gone. Offensively for us, the biggest thing is we're going to have to drive the ball. It's going to have to be meticulous. It's going to have to be, we're going to have to do everything right and drive the ball down the field and score. And that's hard to do at the high school level for any team.
We'll be right back to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Relax. Misty's Element Massage specializes in helping you do just that. Located at 138 Village Market on St. Simon's Island, Misty's Element Massage offers deep tissue massages, therapeutic massages, scrubs, creams, body wraps, and much more. The perfect gift for that special someone, not to mention sports massages for that aching muscle. Schedule your appointment today at 912-224-0198 or on the web at mistyselement.com.
Fresh local seafood on St. Simon's Island, St. Simon's Seafood, located at 2463 Demery Road in the shops at Demery Plaza next to Loco's, has everything a seafood lover could want. Wild Georgia shrimp, crab cakes, flounder, you name it, and St. Simon's Seafood has it. Seafood so fresh, it was swimming this morning. So stop into St. Simon's Seafood and check them out on Facebook. St. Simon's Seafood, the island's only fresh seafood market. Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island is your home for the best seafood around. Oysters, shrimp, fish, you name it. Not to mention your island home for NFL Sunday Ticket, Major League Baseball extra innings, college game day, and so much more. Catch 228 is also your home for the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick and a proud Frederica Academy supporter. So stop on in any night of the week for the best time on St. Simon's and find us on Facebook. Go Knights! Welcome back to the Frederica Academy Knights Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Jason Bishop, sitting in for John Wetzler on location at Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's. This segment is brought to you by Misty's Element Massage and by St. Simon's Seafood. The thing is, Coach, every single week that we do this show, we have a fantastic turnout from the crowd, and just want to say thank you for all the Frederica supporters that come out for the show. Very well supported. All right, Coach, so we know what we have to do to beat Trinity. So we're heading into the region part of the schedule, which, as you know, that's going to dictate whether or not you make the playoffs, Coach. So I just want to ask you straight up, very directly, do you have a playoff football team?
Yes, we do. And I've been saying it from week to week. Right now there's 5 teams in our region, and the team that makes the least mistakes is going to win. We're all pretty darn even. I've watched every one of us play, and we're all even. Some people have an advantage here and there, but we're as even as a region as I've ever seen. It's going to be a battle in our region to see who wins. Pinewood may be probably the most polished right now of everybody, but luckily we get to play them at home next week. We don't have to go to Pinewood because you're not going to get a call there. I don't want to say anything bad about it, but Lord have mercy, it was bad last year. We hadn't got a call anywhere, so we don't even get a call at home most of the time, but I feel like our region's pretty even, and it's going to come down to the teams that execute, and whatever team makes mistakes, and the other one that can capitalize on it's going to win.
For the folks that may not be accustomed or familiar with how the GISA playoff format works versus what the GHSA, how that works, Coach, just fill us in on exactly how it works and the differences.
Well, for us, it's very similar to the GHSA. The top 4 teams in each region go in AAA. Of course, there's 5 teams in our region, so one of them's going to get left out. And we've been watching all the other teams very closely. GHSA's top 4 teams in every one of their regions. It's going to be a 16-team field in ours in AAA, whereas GHSA will put 32 teams in it. So there'll be 1 extra round. We'll play 4 rounds, whereas Georgia High School Association plays 5 rounds of football. That's really the only major difference between us and them.
What do you think your football team needs to do, Coach, as far as record-wise, to not be that team that's left out?
Got to win 1. Win 1, and defense has got to show up and play, because that's going to be the tiebreakers, the number of points that we give up. And so far, 4 out of 5 games, the defense pretty much shows up and plays right now. Offensively, we're searching, but I really think confidence-wise, if we get something going on offense, it's going to pick up. I felt like Friday night, when we did score on that first drive, kind of took the wind out of ourselves, but I feel like if we had put some points on the board right off the bat, it could have been a totally different football game and had some confidence. Stuff happens. And the biggest thing about last Friday is we knew all those kids. We had that respect thing, and I think we just kind of like, oh no, here we go again, because it happened in camp with us. We get some momentum and we make a bad play or we make a mistake, and we kind of regress back to that mindset.
This is the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Coach, you mentioned Pinewood, probably the most polished team in your region. Talk a little bit more about the other teams in your region going forward, what they bring to the table, and where Frederica might be able to exploit some advantages that the Knights may have against them.
Well, the advantage sometimes I believe that we have is we're going to have our kids in the right spots to make plays every Friday night. One of the biggest compliments I was given Friday night by the coach at Robert Toombs said, listen, you're the best coach football team around. He said, you guys put the guys in the right spots. He said, you're going to be fine. He's played, like I said, he's played 3 or 4 of those teams already. And he keeps telling me, you can beat those guys. You're good enough to beat them. He said, you guys can beat them. He said, you guys give everybody problems because you're going to put your kids in spots. He said, we're scared to death. Every time y'all snap the ball on offense, he said, my defensive back coach scared to death. He said, because y'all have the ability to throw the ball and hit people that are wide open because you put them in spots. He said, it's not like y'all don't do your homework. He said, you guys, he said, most teams we show up and play, they're not very sound. He said, your kids are sound. They do the basics. They do the things right. As we're going forward, we're going to have to do some things against Trinity. One, sustain some drives, and defensively read our keys. We got to win field position with special teams with them, and then the following week against Pinewood, we just got to keep them off the field. I talked to the defense today. We need to get some 3 and outs. We need to get a bunch of those and play very solid, tackle well. Pinewood's going to be tough defensively. It could be one of those games at the very end. It's a slugfest. It's the team that breaks that one play and can get field goal range or something. We scrimmaged them already early in the season over at Toombs, So they're going to be a very solid team, and we're going to have to do some things right against them and get a few breaks. And then, of course, Bullock, they're going to line up a wishbone and a double wing and run the option, so we're going to have to stay at home, read our keys on defense. Offensively, I feel like we can give them some problems with the mismatch. We like to spread the field, I would say, and it might give them a little bit of a mismatch. And then Edmund Burke likes getting the wishbone. Do some things. We just have to be very solid up front against them. Speed-wise, I think we'll give them a little bit of a problem. And you probably won't hear me say that much. That we have a little bit more speed, but I feel like we have the skill set very comparable. But I don't know if they're very good in space. They like to get in the wishbone and run right at people. And I think that kind of plays in our favor sometimes with the size of our defensive line and our front seven.
So the second half of the season will begin region play and will begin the playoff push for the Frederica Academy Knights. If you have the opportunity to make the trek up to Dublin to watch the Knights play at Trinity, you definitely should. And also every chance that you have to catch a Knights home game right over here on St. Simon's. Actually, Coach, I was kind of giving some thought the other day of a cool nickname for the field out there. We've been calling it the Jungle. The Southern Sports Edition has been calling it the Jungle for basically since its inception, and I had an epiphany. The Bloody Marsh.
That would be fine with me. We're going to have to make somebody bleed out there, I guess. Right now, we have an armadillo that's hunting mole crickets right now, so he's the most committed to being there every day. I'm chasing that sucker off the field every day out there right now. He's a committed old sucker. I've been chasing him. We had a mole for 2 weeks. I think I killed him last week with a pitchfork doing a couple jobs out there. So we've had some real commitment by some animals. So the Bloody Marsh might be it. Once they get the armadillo, that'll be the blood spill with the mole and the armadillo.
Folks, I want to thank you for joining us for the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Come out every Thursday night right here, catch 228 in the Redfern Village, and join us 6:30 every single week for the Brandon Derrick Coaches Show. Thanks once again to the Frederica supporters that came out tonight and are supporting their coach and his obsession to kill armadillos on the field. I'm Jason Bishop, sitting in for John Wetzler, signing off.